so excited to be back filming after being gone for a couple of weeks, and I've got somewhere to go and I need to get ready, so you're gonna come along with me today, and you're probably gonna hear my puppies in the background playing tug with a sock. But like I said, I got somewhere to go, and so you and me are gonna do some catch up and some chatting, and I'm afraid that probably during a little bit of this there might be some tears as I kind of just talk to you a little bit about, what I've been doing over the past couple of weeks. I'm not going to really talk about a lot of the products that I'm putting on today because I am, trying to get ready, but I will have everything listed down in the description box. So if you're interested in something, definitely make sure that you go check that out. So I'm going to be a little rusty today, I feel like, because it's been more than 2 weeks since I have posted a video. When I looked at my channel on YouTube Studio this morning, my last video went up 20 days ago, and I had no idea it had been that long, but such is life. So what have I been up to? What have you been up to over the past couple of weeks? Tell me things that you've been doing. What kind of fun things have you been doing for summer? I want to hear if you've been going on any vacations or any kind of fun things like that, or doing some staycations. I love to live vicariously through you, because even though I was gone, like not recording, I didn't really actually go anywhere. If you are not familiar with my channel, or you're kind of new to my channel, I am from Texas, and last year I moved to Missouri. So my husband's mom still lives in Texas, and I don't really have any family. Not really, and that's a whole long story. But so my mother-in-law, it had been like a year since we had seen her, because we've been here for almost a year. So she came for a 2-week visit with one of her friends that she's been friends with for a really long time. They used to teach together, and so they came for a visit, but also to help kind of watch our dogs while we were gone to church camp. So the main reason why I didn't record anything, and I'm behind on my reading and my cleaning and so many other things, was just because of having house guests and making it a little awkward to record videos and be talking to myself while they were here. Even though my daughter did mention to them, oh, she does do a YouTube channel and all that, it's just not the right kind of scene or whatever. So having them here for the past couple of weeks has been really nice. But again, we were gone for one of those weeks, basically 5 days, because of church camp. So that's the whole story that I will get into. So while my mother-in-law and her friend were here, it was very helpful to be able to have an extra pair of hands. My mother-in-law, it doesn't get around very well. It was very helpful to have her here for the dogs, because she helped walk the dogs, and she did all of the dog walking while we were gone to church camp and all of that. But I didn't clean and things like that like I normally do, but I did a lot of cooking for all of us, and just daily upkeep and things like that. So that was fun. We didn't really do anything super crazy. We just did some things here around our small town, because even though our town is really small, we have a lot of tourism in our town, which I won't divulge why, because that will tell you where I live. But we have a lot of tourism in our town, and so they did a lot of things around town that kind of had to do with the tourism type activities and things like that. And so that was really fun for them to get to see and experience, and took them to our library. Our library here in town is small, but it's really cute. It's very historic. We live in a very historic town. It's like an old town, but there's a lot going on within that. So I think that they had a good time. Now, so about church camp. So church camp this was my first time to be a cabin leader at church camp. And it was my daughter's first time to be at church camp and be a camper at church camp. We had never really kind of like let her go because for many reasons. A couple of the reasons are she has a really hard time going to sleep. She is also, in case you're not, in case you're new and you haven't like watched my channel for a really long time, my daughter is 12 years old and she's high functioning autistic. So I want to talk to you about that a little bit. So I kind of I call her high functioning autistic, which I think now, just in case you're not familiar with autism, and I'm learning things, she's been diagnosed for like 2 or 3 years now. And so we are going through this journey of things that we're learning about autism. So I think now they kind of classify things as levels based off your support needs. So I think there's level 1, 2, and 3. There may be more, I'm not sure, but she would be categorized as a level 1 autistic person. And I'm not somebody who's like really like offended by, oh, she has autism or she's an autistic person. It's all the same. So, she would be categorized as a level 1 because her support needs are low. She is verbal. She can take care of herself. She's learning how to do her laundry and cook and clean, and she can do the things that a neurotypical 12-year-old can do. And so she would be someone categorized as a level 1 autistic person. Her support needs really come in the form of emotional support. Sorry, I keep getting a hair. There. Emotional support needs. So, and that became, which, we've had many instances and things really kind of flare up around her time of the month. And now that she's hit puberty, she really has a hard time regulating her emotions, as most 12-year-olds do, but hers is just a little extra, or sometimes a lot extra. So the first day of church camp is her first time being there, and it was a half day, but she had to be there a little early because we had to be there a little early as cabin leaders. So it's just a whole new experience. She was already a little thrown off. And she's also the kind of person that if she can kind of tell immediately whether or not she likes someone, and she didn't really like, I don't think, the person that was going to be her cabin leader. I think there was just, I don't know, there was just a vibe there and she didn't like the vibe. Well, super long story short, very long story short, she had 3 meltdowns on the first day, which was even just a half day, and those meltdowns stemmed from being overstimulated, overtired, and being confused about certain things that she didn't understand, and she didn't understand why they had to be that way, in addition to being already like overstimulated. So she had a really rough first day with the 3 meltdowns. And when she was having the meltdowns, my husband and I were both there, and we're trying to figure out, like, does my mother-in-law and her friend need to come and pick her up, because she can't continue to stay here and have the meltdowns. She's not going to have a good time. Other people are not going to be able to have a good time. But ultimately, after talking to somebody else from our church, we just decided to go ahead and figure out a way to make it work. And one of the ways that we figured out to make it work was that she was going to stay in a private cabin with her dad, so that she had a quiet space to go at the end of the day or during the day if she needed to take a break. She kind of had her own space, which really helped, because as someone who has instability of emotions, she needed to be able to have that. think she heard me talking about her, so she decided to come in. And we have our matching headbands that we got at Marshall's.
I'm preppy.
She's okay, I'm gonna record and you're gonna go get ready too. Are you gonna do your skincare?
Right here.
I don't even know where I left off. So, that switch really helped. Now, also, as many of you know, being a preteen, being in middle school, and being a girl is really awful, just for anybody. So she had some issues with one of the girls in her cabin that she had already known from Pee-wee cheer for middle school. So she already had this issue. Well, this girl is not nice. And I have already kind of like identified that this girl is not nice. From Pee-wee cheer, I identified that this girl is just, yeah. This girl is someone who likes to be the center of attention and will do anything that she can to be able to do that. So I was already on high alert when I realized that they were going to be in a cabin together. So because of the issues with that girl, and by default many of the other girls in her cabin, because they kind of, you know, Regina George style went to her.
I like Regina George.
So Regina George style, they all kind of like clung to her, and therefore, you know, kind of not to Abby, my daughter. So we decided to let her hang out with my cabin, who had some girls that she was definitely going to click with, and another group of girls that were so sweet and so kind and very friendly, and welcoming of people into their friend group. Ultimately, the church camp experience ended up being really good for all of us, but it was very emotional for me as a mom on that first day, seeing her so upset, not knowing how to fix it, not being able to help her at all, and then ultimately, even throughout the week, being able to see and watch how other girls treated her and the other girls that she was hanging out with, who are different. They're different. They act different throughout the week. I continue to kind of watch this group of girls and how they would look at Abby and the girls that she was hanging out with from my cabin, and a couple of other girls that were not from the cabin. And it was really sad, and it was really, really heartbreaking to see people looking upon your child with so much disgust because she's different. And so that was really hard. Even though even though someone may be different than you, someone may like different things, they may talk about different things.
No, stop. Don't cry.
And so even though, you know, someone may be different than you, there's still a person. They're still great and unique in their own way. And so it was really hard for me as her mom to watch these girls look at her friend group with so much disgust and disdain. And so I kept my eyes on that group of girls all week long, because of course they would be going to lunch and breakfast and dinner right after us. So, and we went to activities together. So, you know, I kept my eyes on them, and the main ringleader of this group knew that I was watching her, and knew that, yeah, she knew that I was watching her. I didn't never like give her super nasty looks, but she got my teacher look, which if you're a teacher, you know, teacher look means business. So anyway, the girl, she knew. So anyway, so every cabin, so this is the funny story that my daughter wants me to tell you, and I was going to tell you anyway, but she gives me permission to do this. So every cabin had kitchen duty once and some twice during the 5 days that we were there. So during your kitchen duty, you had to kind of like take care of the dishes, and you would collect plates from people and wash the dishes and clean up the kitchen. So encouraged by some of the girls from her friend group from my cabin, my daughter, on the day that these not nice girls had kitchen duty, my daughter went and pulled a prank on them, which was she went and got, and I know this is wasteful, so no judging, went and got a whole bunch of ranch dressing, squirted it all over her plate, and then took it to them. And they were like, "Did you do that for us?" And she was just like, "Mm." And then she went back with a cup full of liquid and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that was kind of like over the top a little bit. And I talked to her about it later, and I was like, you know, that's not the very Christian-like thing to do. It's not the very Christian-like thing to do. However, I think it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Oh my gosh, are you serious?
It's just a little bit.
It's not just a little. You have way too much.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Here, you get out of here. So that was pretty funny. I was pretty proud. So kind of like when I was reflecting on the week and trying to figure out things that I learned about myself and her and God, as you know, we went throughout the camp, some things that I learned about my daughter are pretty awesome. One, I learned that, you know, we're working on getting her some therapy for the emotional regulation and anxiety management that she gets. And so, you know, I've known that was a thing, but the week kind of like set that into motion hardcore. Two, I learned about her that she handles bullies and unkind people like those girls in a totally different way than I do. If that were me, and I did get made fun of a lot when I was growing up, for different reasons, but I did. I would cry and like retaliate, not retaliate. I would cry and like withdraw within myself. I would never have the nerve to go up to them and say something to them. And so she is not that way. She has the gumption to be able to go up and let them know kind of like what they're doing isn't right, and it's not kind, and I'm not gonna stand for it. So I think that's pretty amazing. And thirdly, I learned that she's pretty brave when it comes to boys. Me never wanted my crushes to know that I liked them. Never. It was so embarrassing. But there was a boy there that was with his grandmother, who was the nurse, and she went up to him several times and talked to him. And on the last day, she went up and gave him like some little flowers that she had picked. And I thought that was all so sweet, and I never would have had the nerve to do that. So I'm so proud of her for that. And so, you know, she's so much different than me in that way, and that's a good thing.
Get it from my daddy.
To not be scared to be who you are. And that's the other thing I think that I figured out about her, is that she is good with who she is. And I love that. You know, she's going to have struggles in her life with social things, and that's okay. As long as she loves who she is, then, you know, that's what counts. So that is church camp in a nutshell. It was a success. It was very rough at first, but we made it through. And I was really thankful that I had such a great group of girls and a really great CIT who was very supportive and did a lot of heavy lifting on the first day when I was not emotionally available or present at all. It was really good. In the end, it ended up being a really good experience. And I didn't even share. My daughter was brave enough to get up with one of her friends from my cabin, and they did a little song from the talent show. And I never would have been brave enough to do that. So really, all in all, my daughter showed how brave she is, even in the face of
some ugly little Sephora kids.
Yeah. They were definitely, one of them was Sephora kid. I'm gonna now do my eyelashes and put on a little lipstick, and then we'll close the video out. So this is my finished look. I'm off to figure out where in the world I'm supposed to go to transfer my vehicle from Texas to Missouri and probably change my driver's license. So I'm officially going to be a Missourian after today, more than likely. So that's why I had to get really, really cute and make sure that my makeup was on point, but classic and timeless. Didn't want to use my greens and stuff because I don't know if I want my driver's license picture to be green for years and years and years. So thanks for coming along with me. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Thank you so much. And if you are not already subscribed and you like Project Panning content, go ahead and click subscribe because I'm going to try to be putting out a lot of things over the next month, which is my birthday month. So make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you later. Bye.